happy and we're singing and we're coloring. Give me a high five.
What's going on, you guys? It's your boy Joe Castro, aka Philly Fresco, here with my guy Big Game James. And James, I missed that intro. You know what I'm saying? We back with another Best of Enemies podcast. What's going on, James? How you doing, brother?
I'm good. I love that. That is, like I said, that is not the best intro. It's tops because we got the final word. That intro is hard, dog. I can't take you off our intro. Our intro is dope. But this is the second best because ain't nobody got this. You feel me? Like this original, this ours, and it's got to stay ours. So I don't want you ever change it because this ours.
Yeah, no, definitely the second best to my original intro. You're definitely right. That Philly the podcast intro go different. And it's different, but no, a lot has happened, right? I haven't been live in a long time. I'm not gonna lie.
I have. I ain't been live though. No, what you been doing?
I've been trying to do this outdoors videos, getting haircuts. You know what I'm saying?
I know. Really I seen the outdoorsy look. I said, look at this dude.
Yeah, you got to utilize Florida when you got it, right? You got to utilize it.
I feel
but no, yeah, I've been definitely keeping my eye on these draft prospects and definitely keeping an eye on the NFL as you have. I mean, it's been getting crazy out here, right? It's been It's been the wild, wild west. People getting paid like crazy. So let's start honestly with a draft prospect, though. I want to start with David Ojabo because I know it's going to come up when we do our mock draft, but you know, obviously tore his Achilles. You know, what does that do to this draft? Is he now a guy that you, as a Dallas Cowboys fan, who they need some edge rushers, maybe looks at the end of the first round? You know, what does this change, if anything?
It hell to the no. I don't want no injured player. And first of all, I'm sorry that happened with David. You feel me? Like that. That's terrible that happened. You know, because number one, he wasn't a guy that was a football guy his whole life. This was a guy that really just kind of came on. Maybe you could call him a 1-year wonder, and he really turned up, you know, this year with the 10 sacks opposite of Hutchinson. So, you know, he was trending up. He was the guy that you talked about, and we were talking about just the speed, the agility that he had at that size. He was trending up. Obviously, he was a project, but you were excited, especially, like I said, if you were feeling you got 3 first-round picks, and let's say you stay with those picks, that's a guy you could say, well, I could have took a chance on him because we got 3 picks. You know, we can work with that. But now that kind of maybe hurts him. They say that he'll still get drafted because of the potential. So they said he won't slip too far. But the thing that I was seeing on Twitter that bothered me, I turned Twitter on like early this morning, and Bucky Brooks was showing when he got hurt, when he blew out his Achilles. Nobody came over to him. Nobody was like talking with him. Like it was just like I was kind of crazy. Like I was amazed how nobody was like trying to like, you know, try to help him up or, you know, what's going on? You okay? Everybody was just like it was nothing. And this dude tore his Achilles heel. And so, and this guy's going to be out 6 months. This dude just lost a lot of money. You know what I mean? So that was kind of frustrating seeing that. But I don't think it changes the draft per se. And I definitely don't want the Dallas Cowboys to look at an injured player. They've already had that and been through that. There's no need for that. And especially with a top pick, that wouldn't make any kind of sense at all, especially when you got guys that can rush the passer right now that can help you, you know, help you right now. So no, that wouldn't make any kind of sense, bro.
Yeah, no, I feel you. And as an Eagles fan, like you said, we have talked about David Ojabo. I think everybody has. You have to, right, when you're talking draft. But you said it perfectly. I mean, he was a guy that kind of came on the scene out of nowhere and wasn't really he's not a technician, right? Like if somebody like a George Karlaftis, just to throw a name out there, right? Somebody that's more like technique heavy, somebody that's more, you know, at the position that they are in their draft prospect, in their draft stock because of their technique instead of their athleticism. I think it might not hurt them as much. But, you know, look, as an Eagles fan, I got to be realistic. We are a team that has a tendency to like to pick players, especially in the second round, if they drop that should have maybe been first rounders. We did it with Sidney Jones. We just did it with Landon Dickerson. Obviously, 2 totally different, you know, outcomes with that. But I wouldn't be surprised if he somehow drops to the second round, which is very plausible, very possible.
Oh, he should.
Yeah. I mean, I think that there's going to be somebody at the end of
you as a Philadelphia Eagle are happy if you took him right now?
Heck no. But
Okay.
I think like a team at like 32 or 30 or 31 might like, or even a team that is in the second round might try to shoot up and just grab him in the end to get that fifth year option and kind of give this year as him kind of learning technique, maybe off the field. I don't know. I just think that NFL teams are very desperate for talent, especially at the pass rusher
I
position.
wouldn't take that chance.
I wouldn't. I definitely wouldn't, especially at not no 15, 16, or 19. I'm definitely not.
I
No.
mean, me personally, like if a team is looking at the potential, okay, but to me, I'm still looking at on the on field, and it's only been 1 year, and he came out of nowhere. It's not like he's been a football guy, so yes, that's a huge risk. So I don't know. I would have to make sure I got other guys. Like if I got other players, in the fold, defensive ends. You know what I mean? I Dallas does, but in this case, Dallas deals with a lot of injured players, so that's the reason why I would lure away from it. If I got a stable of defensive ends that I feel like I can already roll with right now, and he can learn, yes, maybe second, mid, second, late, depending on who's out there. Because if I got guys that are defensive ends right now that are put some more production and got some good numbers, I'm gonna go that way.
Yeah, and there's a lot of players in this draft. This probably helps. Like, obviously, you never want this to happen to anybody, especially as a player yourself. But like, this probably helps some of those guys that were kind of fringe, like a Jermaine Johnson. Maybe a Trayvon Walker, people that kind of
You think
were
he's
in the
fringe now,
same class as. I don't think they're
Jermaine
fringe. I
Johnson?
think they were in the same conversation as a David Ojabo. Like, I think that just because of Ajabo's athleticism, they were kind of lumped together. So this kind of puts them ahead of them, if I should say. Like, they're more so the definite next picks after like an Aiden or a Kayvon Thibodeau. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it
Right.
just raises their stock a little bit. So I don't think that it makes them like now they're first rounders. I always think they were top 15, top 10 players, but this puts them, there's no question now, right? If it's between David Ojabo and Jermaine Johnson for you before, I think this answers that question. So it might change up the draft in that essence. Like a team like us, we might go ahead and try and trade up. Like I could see the Eagles trying to say, all right, well, now the pool of elite defensive linemen are kind of shrinking. Let's go ahead and trade up, or go take a guy like a Jordan Davis or a Devontae Wyatt, who we've been now interviewing for some reason. So it might change it a little bit. That's how I'm looking at it right now.
It could, but as I said before, now I could see him just slipping in a later round. Teams are always, like you said, going to get on potential, and now with the medicine and the way things can, they're saying 6 months. I don't know how 6 months. That's crazy. But they're like, I think they just say that just to make it sound good for him, so he doesn't tumble where he's like, oh, this is going to be 8 to 9 months, and then they're like, we don't want to do that. So if they make it sound like 6 months, he's going to get there quicker, then they'll be like, okay, we'll go ahead and take that chance. So I think that's in the media, probably maybe his people's pushing that. Oh, he's going to be ready. Nah, he ain't going to be out forever. Please don't forget, you know what I mean? So with medicine, like you said, maybe second round, late second round. I don't want Dallas to do anything like that because, number one, I still don't think defensive end is a number one pick at 24. You don't have to do that. They got other guys they're looking at. They can get that in the later rounds because I think there's a lot of defensive ends that you can get that are slippy enough that can be productive for you. So this is a good draft for defensive ends.
Yeah. So prayers up to him. Hopefully he, quick recovery. Obviously, like we said, nobody wants to see that happen. So we'll see what happens with there. Now, I do want to talk a little bit about free agency because I feel like the Eagles and the Cowboys have had very boring free agencies, if I will. I think that's a nice way of putting it. But, the Eagles basically re-signed some players. That's really all we did outside of the Hassan Reddick pickup, which was huge, in my opinion. But as far as like a lot of these trades go, like you look at Robert Woods, you look at like what some of these guys are going for in trades. It's just kind of weird that, the Eagles haven't made a move at the wide receiving position. That's where I'm stuck at right now, is that we don't have a safety and we don't have a wide receiver going into this next year. We brought back Anthony Harris, which is like, he's serviceable. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think he's going to, he's not going to lead a number one defense, right? He's not going to lead a top 5 defense, in my opinion. So it worries me that we haven't really did much. I think we did a lot of sideways steps, right? We took a lot of sideways movement, nothing really, making a step forward. So How are you feeling about the Cowboys free agency so far? Who are you guys looking at? I know we were talking a little bit off of air about it, but who are some guys you guys are looking at?
Dallas, I'm not even going to sit there and say they're looking at anybody. We already know what Dallas does as far as their free agency. They wait till the end. They don't go out there and jump at anybody. We just had two signings. James Washington came over from Pittsburgh. Dez Bryant called that signing. I guess he was tweeting like about 4 days ago. James Washington was coming to Dallas Bank. He said bank on it, and Washington did come. I think he's a slippy little. If he's going to be a third receiver, he's got good speed. He adds that speed element. I think they were slow. I think they were looking at him when he was out in the draft when he was coming out of, I believe, Oklahoma State. I feel like they had an eye on him. Pittsburgh scooped him up, so I feel like that was a revisit of somebody they wanted before. Obviously, Dante Fowler. I don't feel like he's ever lived up to his billing, but I've always kind of liked Dante Fowler from afar when he came out of school with Jacksonville. I thought he was going to be a really good player at Jacksonville. I think injuries kind of curtailed him there first. And we all seen the season he had with the Rams, those 11 and a half sacks, I believe. Dan Quinn signed him. His production fell off, had like 7 sacks in 2 years, fell off drastically after his first year. But Quinn was only there, I think, 5 games and then got fired. So he really didn't get to work with Quinn. And Quinn wasn't specifically just the defensive coordinator. So I can look at that signing with him being 27 years old still. He had maybe a few years in his good tank. And Dan Quinn is pretty good at resurrecting these guys and putting them in position to succeed. So I'm cool with those two signings. I knew what kind of signings they were going to be. Low risk. Both of them are low risk signings. They didn't jump out there in free agency like we know they're not going to do. So they're going to go with low risk signings. These are two more low risk signings. We hear just now that they're looking at, or there's interest in Jason Pierre-Paul. I've always liked Pierre-Paul. He's fell off as far as sacks go. But once again, they could say a year deal. Dan Quinn, he's a resurrector, part-time pass rusher in this defense. You got Michael Parsons. Maybe he can really turn up, and that's what they're looking at. And you're not going to cost a lot of money because you're 33 years old and you're on the downside of your career, and it's another low-cost deal for Dallas. So, but that's a guy that I always like, and if you could get him on the defense, I would like him with Parsons and them guys, and I would like him with Dan Quinn because I do think Dan Quinn could get something out of him because I think people like playing for him.
Does this change like your draft?
No,
plan
it
at
should.
all?
It shouldn't. It shouldn't. In my opinion, I think the only thing that's changed now with Amari Cooper being gone, Michael Gallup, yes, they signed him to a 5-year deal, $62 million deal, but I think that has changed for the receiver because they're going to miss Amari Cooper more than they think, in my opinion. CeeDee Lamb is going to be good. I think he definitely needs to take the next step as far as the training and the route running. Because now he's going to be counted on. He's 88, third year. He's the number one guy now for real because Michael Gallup is not going to be ready. And then, you have pretty much role players. Cedric Wilson is gone. Maybe you sign Malik Turner. He's a third, fourth receiver. Simi Fehoko, your 4th-round draft pick from Stanford. We need to see what he's in the fold. James Washington is there now. So you're going to definitely have to draft a receiver. And now I feel like maybe you don't go past the 2nd round without drafting a receiver now, in my opinion. So it was me, offensive lineman. I was really pushing linebacker 2nd round. But now with Amari Cooper gone, for me, I would look at receiver because there's some good difference makers. I think they visited Treylon Burks from Arkansas. He's been a talk, and he could fall because, remember, we talked about him not having the greatest combine. You know what I mean? But he could be remember, me and you both taught that he doesn't have to have those great combine numbers. He could just be an animal on the field, one of those type of receivers where he's just an animal on the field. He don't need them combine numbers. He's just a dog. So maybe he could slip to him. And he's from Arkansas. Jerry Jones and them went to Arkansas. There's a connection, dog. So that's what I'm looking at that could possibly happen now with the first 2 rounds. So I think that changes.
Yeah, Treylon Burks kind of ran like he had bricks on his feet. I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of surprised. He looks faster
But I
than he ran,
mean,
in my opinion.
but like we said though, that's like a Dez. Dez
Yeah,
fell in the draft too because of his 40 time. He ran like a 4.5, and they're like, well, but he had that playing speed, and I feel like that's what Burks has. And he's like what 6'2", 6'3",
yeah,
almost 220, 25 pounds. He ran a 4.5. He's 225 pounds. Everybody's just getting so used to these new age receivers that are running 4.3s and 4.2s, and they expect everybody to do it. Everybody's not going to do it, but that doesn't mean when he gets on that field, he doesn't have that playing field where you're not catching him, or he plays strong out there, and he does play. When you look at the tape, he does. So, hey, if he falls, I think that could be a player that he may play with a chip on his shoulder, and maybe that could be a player Dallas has their eye on now because he does fall now.
yeah. And we've seen so many speed receivers, right? Speed receivers fizzle out, especially in Philadelphia. We love our speed receivers. You could look at Jalen Reagor right off the rip, right? We love our speed receivers. So it's not always speed. It's not always size. Like I was saying this earlier on my Twitter. It's like Eagles fans always love to say, "Oh, we need like a big wide receiver. We need a speed guy over here." That's just not what the game is. You just need some guys that could play football, man. Like you
Right.
look at a lot of these teams. A lot of them, don't get me wrong. A lot of the premier teams have star wide receivers. But when you look at those star wide receivers, they come in different shapes and forms and speed. They're all different. So not everybody's going to be a Tyreek Hill. Not everybody's going to be a Devontae Adams, right? Like those are two
Right.
totally different people. So it's just about people that fit your team and fit your scheme, if you will. So yeah, I think with the Eagles, I think perception wise, maybe we aren't in the hunt for a pass rusher as much as we were prior to the Hassan Riddick, pickup. But I think we still are. I think that it's still a position that you really need. Obviously, getting Fletcher Cox back on kind of a cheaper deal a little bit. Maybe you don't. I don't. I think all that was smokescreen. I think we're literally still on the same path. We're still trying to kind of build this team through the draft because we have really no other option. Nobody really wants to come play for us, and I hate to say that, especially to a Cowboys fan, but it's been.
It's the same
tough.
thing with Dallas. It's the same thing in my opinion in Dallas. I don't think it's any different. I said this on the show a couple of days ago that it's like a fraternity like anything else. They see each other. We play sports. I play sports. It's a world beyond the world. So they talk all the time. It's like a job with them. We don't know nothing about what they're doing like that on the daily. We understand it because we've talked to the people behind the scenes, so we understand it more. But man, you don't think they're talking about, oh, okay, well, they don't pay no money over there. Why are you going over there? Or what? Then you going to go over there because of the brand? Y'all ain't even winning, dog. You know what I'm saying? You going to play over there in that fiasco? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Players don't talk like that. And like, that's why they're not signing. You don't see players jumping over to come to the Cowboys. They use it as a stepping stone, just like with Von Miller. Everybody was talking as soon as Dallas lost Randy Gregory. Von Miller was this. Oh, they're talking about he coming back home, Texas boy. He's not coming back to Dallas. He wants money at the end of his contract. Dallas is not paying that. So, and then I made a post on my Twitter about what Stephen Jones said in 2016 about they're not going to be big players in free agency. He said that. So I don't know why people even think about a big name when he said they will not be in that at all. We're going to give them a number. If they go beyond that number, we're out. They stay true to it. So I just look at the mid-level free agents and see what there is at toward the end, or maybe they get a slippy guy who maybe nobody wants to pay him and he may have a year left and they feel like they can squeeze a year. That's what they're going to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And Eagles do it more so like with their trade offers. Like, I guess Robert Woods just didn't want to come here. He wanted to go to the Titans, which, God bless him, whatever.
Maybe he didn't like the coach too. Coaches that, players,
true.
If the player, think about it though, dog, like if you're a player, they don't really be having a lot of control. And now I feel like now in 2022, they're getting more control of where they can go and where they can play. So I feel like they're trying to exercise that and exercise their voice, because teams could just trade you to a team. How would you feel when you was in a good team or you was playing in a nice explosive offense or something, and you get traded to a bum team with a quarterback that's suspect, and then you got to deal with a coach who may not be good? Yo, that ain't gonna be fun football no more. Yeah. People don't understand that. That's your career could just go on a downtrend. You start being miserable because now the situation that you're in, people don't understand that. So hey, players gonna look at like maybe that wasn't the best situation for me. So I'm going somewhere where I feel like it'll be more comfortable where I'll be at. So hey, more power to them. And I can understand if they don't want to come to Dallas because I already see the fiasco in Dallas.
Yeah, and I think that Eagles fans have more control in that than they think. Like you look at a lot of the sports news in Philadelphia, it's a lot of fans interaction with these players, and I know a lot of people say, oh, you got to be tough mentally, but like it is what it is, man. This new generation, I hate to sound like, you know, boomer or old dude, but like this new generation just isn't built like that anymore. Like they're not the type that's going to sit there and argue back with you. You know what I'm saying? You see KD out on the court talking junk back to, like, not every player is like that. Most players don't want to deal with, you know, the craziness of fans, and especially just in Philadelphia, it's just wild how personal they get. You know what I'm saying? So it's with Eagles, it's with, you know, all the other sports teams as well. So I think that plays a part into it. I think with Cowboys, it is kind of just, I think it's your owner at this point. I think it's just, I don't know. I feel like they have their hand far too deep in the pot, and they have their own reputation at this point that kind of precedes the actual Cowboys reputation, if that makes sense. So,
well, this is what it is, the way I feel about the Cowboys right now, and this is just my opinion on it. The Cowboys, with the Joneses, they want to do it their way. Their way is they're building through the draft. They're trying to sign their own, and that's what they're doing. They're staying true to what they're said, so there's like really no in between anymore. Like Cowboy fans need to understand, there's no in between with Dallas any longer. This is what it is: signing their own, drafting, and maybe getting a free agent there and that they can feel is a deal they can squeeze. And then it's got to be great coaching, in my opinion. Got to be great coaching, and then you got to develop those players early and greatly coach them, because these guys are going to have their hands in it no matter what we say, whether it's coaches, anything, and they're going to get their type of guys that, you know, feel are going to do it their kind of way. So I don't know how it happens, bro, but you know what I'm saying? That's just what it is here in Dallas. So I don't even feel like it's a reputation precedes itself anymore, not in my opinion. From what I look at, you know, that's rabid fans, not the educated Cowboy fan doesn't think that, in my opinion. You shouldn't think that about Dallas anymore. They're a talented team, but they're underachievers, and that's just what it is. So hopefully one day that will happen, but I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's a brand new NFL. So let's go into this draft real quick, man. There was a lot to talk about. Usually we only do like a 10, 15 minute, but there's a lot of things to talk about that happened this past
I mean,
weeks,
hey, the NFL has been crazy. You feel me? Deshaun Watson.
Has.
I mean, I had a feeling he was going. I had a dude that I knew that was a Cleveland fan. I kept on telling him I told him last year Deshaun Watson was coming to Cleveland, because to me, it would be perfect for him to go to Cleveland. The weapons they have, offensive line, they got a good running game. They just got Cooper, good trade-off. I mean, yes, you lost Beckham, and Jarvis Landry, but they had some good young receivers, and they could they could still pick up something. Their defense is good. They got some good young players on defense. You feel me? And I think Deshaun Watson is just dog. He's just nice, and Cleveland's going to embrace him. And
that contract was crazy,
and it's guaranteed. I'm happy for him. You know, I hear a lot of people in the air about the accusations. I get it. So, but I am happy that he did get that contract. You know, people might hate on me because of the allegations, but until they're all proven true, we go from there. But 5 years, 200-something million guaranteed, and you didn't even play football last year. Hey, that's kind of crazy.
It's going to be scary hours for a lot of teams that have good young quarterbacks. You look at people like Justin Herbert. You look at people like, you know, Joe Burrows. Are the respective teams going to be able to keep good enough teams around them and pay them? You know what I'm saying? Because now not only do you have to pay them, you have to have a good team around them. Like, they don't want to lose for the rest of their career. Like, there's so much more power, which is good, in my opinion, put in these players' hands, right? Like, I think it's a good thing, but I think NFL teams might not be ready for that. I think there's going to be a big shift, kind of like the NBA. You kind of see players, you know, decide more so what happens than even the front office in some cases. So
yeah, for real. I don't know. like them NBA players really be having control for real. Be seeming like if they ain't trying to go somewhere, they ain't trying to go somewhere. So we'll see about the NFL because it just seems like it's harder with the NFL for them to still kind of get their way they want. But we'll see. I still do like how they're having a little bit more control, but I get what you're saying about how they're saying, you know, the market value. That's why the Cowboys don't do that. So I don't feel like that's going to apply to Dallas. You get what I'm saying, dog? Like,
Yeah, no, I feel
guys
that.
are going to have to fight for contracts with Dallas. That's the way it is because they're always. Stephen Jones is like, hey, you see the market. We're not paying the market. You know what I mean? So, from our perspective, if I'm a Dallas fan, we shouldn't have to worry about the cap because they're never going to do that. If teams
Yeah.
are worried about ever cap stuff, that ain't Dallas. Dallas is always going to be worried about the cap. So they ain't going to never be no extra kind of signing. Oh, they in cap hell. It's not going to happen, dog. So I don't have the worry of that.
Yeah, the Eagles live in Cap Hell. That's literally, we got a condo in there. So we ain't never coming out of Cap Hell, but it is what it is. So we're going to get into this draft. And the first thing that comes up is a conversation that we kept on having about David Ojabo. So David Ojabo is the top guy in the draft. And kind of like what I said too, Jermaine Johnson and Trayvon Walker already off the board. You know what I'm saying? So it boosts their stock a little bit because David Ojabo might have been one of those picks. Another guy that's here is Jordan Davis. We did visit with Jordan Davis. We did visit with Devontae Wyatt.
Just go ahead and pick him.
You know I am. You know
I mean, just go ahead and pick him. Why you keep talking? Just pick him.
We got to make it dramatic, though. You know what I'm saying?
Whatever. They ain't make nothing dramatic about that.
But I will say, even with the re-signing of Fletcher Cox, obviously,
how you feel about that
deal? I think that it was a little bit dramatic. I don't know, really. We saved, technically, I guess we saved like $18 million over the life of what would have been his contract. So
wasn't that smart?
It is, in the long term, it is smart. Like, we didn't save that much money this year, but like in the long term, it is smart. And it looks like Fletcher Cox is most likely going to retire after this year. Right. So it was smart. I'm not mad about that. But even, with that, I think that defensive interior lineman is going to be something that we're definitely going to need. If not this year, next year, if you can go ahead and get the best player or one of the two. I don't think that they have Jordan Davis and Devontae Wyatt that far apart on their board, if I'm being 100% honest, because Devontae Wyatt is probably more of a Fletcher Cox than a Jordan Davis, if I'm being real. That's like, I wouldn't even be mad if we picked Devontae Wyatt.
And he had a good pro day too, didn't he? He looked pretty good.
He had a great pro day. And like I said, he's more of what Fletcher Cox is than a Jordan Davis, but I don't want that smoke. Last time we did this,
you don't want that. You don't want that smoke. You don't want that.
So I gotta take him. This second one, I won't long-wind it as much. I want to take Garrett Wilson here. We did talk off air, right, about how I was kind of worried we didn't take wide receiver. All right, we might have said it on air. Who knows? I got a terrible memory. But I think that now it kind of pushes that to the front a little bit. And with David Ojabo going down, I think that you can maybe wait to the second round even for an edge guy, and you got a Hassan Reddick. So maybe in their mindset, they don't have to go edge, right away and push for a guy like George Karlaftis or whoever might else be on this board at this time. But either way, so I'm going to go Garrett Wilson. I think him, and I said this earlier, I don't think you need a big guy on the outside and this guy and that guy. He's like 6'1", 6 foot, speedy. He'll match up very well with Devontae Smith. So I'm going to go with Garrett Wilson. I think there's a lot of good wide receivers, though.
Yeah, Garrett Wilson's a good pick. Go ahead and take him. Mm-hmm.
I was about to take Treylon Burks from you, but, I'll be nice.
Okay.
Now let me see something.
Now, see, when I'm drafting now, I'm not drafting how I want to draft. I'm drafting how I think they would. See, that's how I do it. And I don't do it.
That's where I'm at too, yeah.
And because that's how I've been doing it. I mean, what's the point of you drafting the players that you like and you know damn well they ain't thinking about you?
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? You got to see how they draft and how they draft every year, and you get an idea of how they do it. So I'm gonna do it how I think they're doing, not how I want it.
Yeah, I agree 100%, and that's kind of where I am now mentally. Like I said, I have a reasoning behind all these picks right now. And I want to look at linebacker here, but if I'm being realistic, I just don't think this is where they'd go. I think if they were in a position that George Karlaftis fell to them at the 19th pick and they didn't trade it, I think that would be a great pick. So I am going to go that. I am going to do that. I'm going to do George Karlaftis. Nakobe Dean off the Devontae Wyatt off the, I can't say his name. All right, now the Cowboys on the board.
All right, let's see here.
If I can get.
All right, so let's see.
Kenny Pickett, that'll be a great pickup for y'all.
No. Now, like I said, I'm gonna do it how I feel like the Cowboys. So Burks is in the. It's either gonna be, honestly, it's gonna either be Burks or it's gonna be. Let me go to an offensive lineman, interior.
Got you. We got Zion, Kenyon Green.
Oh boy!
I know you guys like Kenyon Green.
I know I like Zion Johnson.
You like Zion? I know.
I think they like Kenyon Green too because the Texas A&M, the versatility. I'm trying to think how they would do it, man. But see, here's the thing too. There's no trades right here in this, okay, and that's how we'll just do it right here. But Dallas has. Let me go to something right quick. Dallas has now 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 fifth rounders. 2 from a compensatory and 1 by the way of the Amari Cooper trade. So they could package some of them things up to maybe get somebody they want and maybe get 2 players. So I'm looking at that. But if I just had it right here, how they would do it. Because I think Burks would slip after this. I think somebody would scoop up Burks. And I think they like him. Like I'm gonna go ahead and take this chance and go with Burks as the first round as the pick because I feel like they like him. They've already visited with him, and I'm gonna just hope that offensive lineman is here next because I don't feel like maybe I think Burks will slip. I don't think Burks.
See, I feel like that's a sideways move for the Cowboys. The only reason I say that is because you gave up I mean, I guess you get a cheaper option, so I guess that's. So I won't say that's a sideways move. Maybe that's hating. That's me hating. I'll take that back. I retract my statement.
Oh, you know what? I messed up.
Yeah, they mad at me.
I messed up. I messed up, y'all. So y'all can kill me. I didn't get my boy Olave.
Who'd you? Oh, you like Chris Olave? You like Olave?
Yes, I like Olave, but I'm going how they. But Olave, they would have drafted Olave too. So that was my fault, y'all, because I like Olave over Burks, in my opinion. So I messed up on that one. I forgot Olave was available. I forgot he was available. So that's my fault on that one. Because I'd have picked Olave.
In this, it seems like I wouldn't be mad at Chad Muma. I wouldn't be mad at Leo Chanel. A lot of people like. I don't mind him. I think that he is like he's got like a nasty streak. I think he's more like a guy that would like they were in like a real blitz heavy scheme, I feel like, and I don't think that's what we do. So I don't know if that's somebody. Chad Muma makes sense for us, but I don't know. It's really confusing what they want to be. Roger McCreary, somebody that will make sense for us. Here, I think I'm gonna go Jalen Petrie. I think he's going to be a dog if I'm being 100% honest, and I think that he's probably the best player on the board right now. Who do they have? Yeah, he's number 2 for them at least. But I just don't feel like he's the best player at a need, especially. And I just don't want to Travis Jones. If I didn't take Jordan Davis, I would have took Travis Jones. I think that's somebody they'd be looking at too. But we need a safety. He wouldn't have to start right away, but I think he would. Long story short, we're taking Jalen Petrie. I like him a lot.
Are we at my pick now?
Yes, sir.
Scroll. Yeah, scroll through the draft. Back up slowly. No, the draft picks.
The draft. Pick.
Yep.
Oh, Sky Moore went.
Kenyon Green went. Keep going. Chris Olave. Yeah, that was my fault on that one. Keep going.
Oh my
God. Damn. Look, he went right after, dog. See, look, Tampa went and got him right after. Look at that. All right, go to offensive lineman, see who's left. In interior.
I mean, there's some players there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not mad. See, I know how I'm gonna do it. I'm still look at
I like these two right here. I don't know much about Sean. I ain't gonna cap.
I'm gonna go with Parham right here on the second round pick
Dylan Farm.
because I
Yeah.
feel like they like him and they've met. I think they talked to him. I think I'm like I said, I'm going how they're going in their head, and then I'm gonna attack defense.
They said no more Jalen's for Philly. Did I take a Jalen? Oh yeah, Jalen Petrie. That's funny. Yeah, my bad. I shouldn't have done that. That's funny. Here, I'm not gonna lie. I'm looking at linebacker, and the two people I was looking at literally just went. So I was looking at Leo Chanel or Channing Tate. Damn, and Troy Anderson was probably good.
All them guys is gonna be. I knew they weren't gonna last. Look, Cleveland got them. Ooh, that hurts.
Brian Asamoah's off. Damn, I messed up.
Bro, yeah, me too. I hate this draft.
Yeah.
It's probably one.
Quay Walker. I would not be mad at Quay Walker. Let me see who we have here. I like DeMarco too. I like JoJo. Shout out to JoJo. He got a YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
I like Brandon Smith too. I would not be mad at Brandon Smith right now. This is. Oh, I like this one better because they let you see what your picks are.
Mm-hmm.
So far, I got a D enter. I got my wide receiver. I got an edge guy. I got a safety. I would love a cornerback. You know, the good thing about JoJo is that he could probably split out as a slot guy every now and then. He's that good in coverage. Yeah, and there's no good cornerbacks that I'm really like going crazy over. Emerson had like a tough pro day, or not a pro day, but combine. Because I think I'm gonna go JoJo. Honestly, he's definitely not an interior offensive lineman. I think I'm gonna go JoJo. Let me think. Yeah, I'm gonna go JoJo. Because, and the reason why I'm going to go JoJo is because, like I said, he does have a lot of versatility. He's very, very good in pass coverage. And I think that we're going to need that, even if it's just on a rotational basis. So I'm not mad at that. Maybe a little bit early for him, but it's all good.
I want Quay Walker, and he's not going to be there.
Quay's there.
Is he? Go to all picks. Is it my pick is up?
Is your pick?
Oh, okay. Go back to linebackers. Oh, yeah. We'll go ahead and take Quay Walker right here. And here's the thing with Quay Walker. I mean, me personally, this will be a good spot for him third round because I feel like he underachieved at Georgia. Mm-hmm. All those measurables, he's freaking huge. Like I saw him in person. He's gigantic, dog. Oozes potential, and this will be a good pick for the way Dallas is because they re-signed LVE to a 1-year deal. And you got Jabril Cox coming back. You got a third rounder that you don't have to feel like you have to start right now. They're going to play LV a lot, and this is a guy that can groom. So I think that's a great pick.
I respect that, yeah.
I don't feel bad and so bad. Now because I got the receiver that they wanted, that they met, and I feel like they like him. He's a big receiver that they like. They got a James Washington who they feel like is a speedster. Treylon Burks is a big receiver. They could groom him and CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup. That doesn't sound bad. You know what I mean? Then you got Parham in the second round as a guard. He came on and they got the Memphis connection with Tony Pollard already. And I think they had another Memphis guy. So there's a connection. So I don't feel too bad now.
Yeah, I would love to get another edge guy, but there's nobody I'm like. Dominique Robinson's pretty good. I don't want to. I'm good. Let me see what we want to do. I'm thinking running back here. If I'm being 100% honest, like I said, if we're doing it in the thought process of the Eagles right now, I have my interior D line that's going to eventually, take over for Fletcher Cox. I got my edge guy that's gonna. Honestly, he can start right away if he goes in there and plays how I know he can play. But you do also have the option of just kind of having him as a rotational guy with Hassan Riddick, with the Josh Sweat. But I think he'll start right away. Garrett Wilson becomes your number 2. You got your safety. You got your linebacker / kind of a slot guy right now. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Kind of slot guy. A running back wouldn't be the worst pick here because you just re-signed Boston Scott. The future of Miles Sanders is very murky. Obviously, you got Kenneth Gainwell.
I got hella 5th-round picks too. I got 4 5th-rounders.
Do you really?
Yeah, that's all I told you. They should wheel and deal those. This is the year they should trade. They don't never really trade. This you got 4 5th-rounders because, like I said, you got 2 for the compensatory. You lost players, and then you got 1 with Amari Cooper. There's no reason why you should have 4 5th-rounders and you draft 4 5th-rounders.
Right now, I'm torn between Damien Pierce, because I like him a lot, and Alec Lindstrom, if I'm being real. Those are the 2 guys I'm really looking at right now.
So let me see if I'm going to rack up right here in this.
Oh,
5th round.
Dude,
Nobody
Kobe
takes
could
on
be
my
a
guys.
good pick. I think I'm going to take Damien Pierce. I think it's really between those 2 for me. Now it's your turn.
All righty. This 4th round?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's
this
go.
Is when I'm just going to fall asleep.
Let's go to DN. Let's go to DN because 5th round, I'm going to go hard in the paint. DN. Where are my DNs?
Right here, edge. You ain't got nobody you like.
Yeah, I do. Scroll down.
Go down.
Go up. So go back up to the top. I wonder if they would look at that cap. Scroll up from at that crazy speed. Go up. Go back up.
This is the top right here.
Armani Barno from Virginia Tech. He ran that 4.3. But I'm gonna go with Dominique Robinson right here. I'm gonna go with Dominique Robinson from Miami of Ohio. DN.
I respect that.
I like Dominique Robinson. I think he had a pretty good combine. 4th round pick. DN. They still, he could be a guy that you could come in and maybe you could groom. They got Chauncey Golston. Will be in his 2nd year. There's another guy you could possibly groom. He has good size, about 6'3", 256, 260 pounds. Good pass rushing ability. And now I can really attack in this 5th round because I got 4 picks.
All right, let's see. I do want to get some help on my interior offensive line, but I think I might hold off because we do have 3 5th round picks. So this is when I could have some fun. Let's see what we might do here. All right. I think we're going to go with some inside offensive line. Maybe it's a little early for him, but it is what it is. I'm going to take Lassidus Smith from Virginia Tech. We need guys that we could develop. I think that he'll be somebody good for Stoutland to just kind of take under his wing and make him into something. He could be a starter soon. All right, now the Cowboys back on. So this is just going to be an NFC East round, basically.
Okay, so let's see. I re-signed Malik Hooker. I like that. I'm gonna go Danny Gray at SMU. Receiver. Ran the 4.3 ran the 4.3 in the 40. Had a good come up year. Those will be my two receivers that we'll think about. Treylon Burks is a big guy, not great speed, but now I got a burner, and he can play special teams.
Take off the top. I respect that. I respect it. I respect it. All right, here I really want to get a cornerback. We have a lot of cornerbacks though, so I don't really want to add another developmental guy. That's really all you got here. Tariq Castro Fields is not that great. All right, let's see what we could do here. Wouldn't mind another linebacker. Another wide receiver.
Y'all got me so daggone picks.
Yeah, now it's like hard because it's like getting to these late rounds. It's like, what would he say? I like DeMarco Jackson, but I don't know if he would really see anything in him being, Howard Roseman. I don't know if they would see the value in a DeMarco Jackson. I like DeMarco Jackson a lot. I like Zacoby McClain, but we have so many players that are like that we have to develop, and we just haven't. This is tough. I wouldn't mind another. We got so many holes. You never realize how bad your team might, actually kind of be till you like looking at all the areas you want to improve.
Right.
All right, I'm not gonna prolong this anymore. I'm gonna go ahead and grab Cade Hall. We need to add to that defensive line, so let's just go ahead and grab talent. Here we're gonna go back to wide receiver. I'm going to go ahead and take Justin Ross from Clemson. I think he's better than he's played, so we'll see what happens. He's got to stay healthy. We'll see what happens. I think he's got everything. He's got the size, speed. He just got to stay healthy. I think that was kind of the biggest problem with him, but we'll see what happens. I add more talent to that wide receiver room, especially if we're not doing anything in this free agency, man, because it has been bleak.
Mm-hmm.
You got the Cowboys back on the board.
All right, so let's go to offensive lineman interior. I'm hoping this player is here because Dallas has already met him.
Chris Paul. I just love that guy's name.
I know, right? There it is. Cade Mays. Pick him from Tennessee.
Boom.
Did you pick Cade Mays?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good pick. There's some good offensive linemen in this job, like some good versatile guys.
I've liked him, and they've already met him a couple times, and he's a good size. Now you got 2 offensive linemen. You lost Lale Collins. Now Terrence Steele slides in there for him. You got your guard. Cade Mays can play tackle or guard, and then you still have your draft pick from last year and Josh Bell. And you still have Matt Farinock, and you could probably get somebody in an undrafted state. So you got 2 offensive linemen, you got an edge guy, you got 2 receivers, one guy that's fast, one guy that can, do multiple things for you. I like where we're at right here, and if I can get one more player that I'm kind of been looking at, I will feel good about this.
You are back on the board. You got this one, and then you got one right after it, basically.
So we're back on the board. Let's go to linebacker right here.
Whoa, that's not gonna make it into Madden. You saw that last name.
Go back up. Let me look at a D tackle. Probably should get a cornerback right here for real.
There's some good ones here still.
Yeah, let's go to D tackle first because that's what I asked. Let me see. I appreciate it. That's my D tackles right now.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna go ahead and grab a corner right here. Let's go to corners. I'm gonna grab a scoop of corner right here.
I've heard some good things about Jacoby Durant.
Scroll up. Jacoby Durant. Yeah, I'm. Here's my thing on these corners. Scroll up. I gotta really get on these corners because I've been lacking, and I know it's a need. We do need to get one. What about that Treylon Barnes? You hear anything about him?
I haven't. No, I'm not gonna lie. I haven't heard too much about him. I focused on Jalen Petrie, but I haven't looked at many of his teammates, if I'm being honest.
Let's go with ain't he got a let's go with that Treylon Barnes kid.
I respect that. Treylon Barnes, and now you're back on the. Did you guys just pick these up? Am I losing?
Yeah, we just picked these up for the
compensatory
and for the Amari trade.
Oh my god, I do not remember all these damn picks for you guys last time we did this.
Yeah, we took 2 corners last year. We took Boston, Kelvin Joseph, and Nashawn Wright. But let me go right here and let me hit. Is these all the best players available?
Yes, sir.
Scroll down some on these best players available. Man, this is where you got to dig.
Yeah, this is where you really got to have your favorites.
Oh, let's get Vernon Kenny right there. Move up. From
the safety.
Yeah, safety.
I was hoping you ain't see that. I was trying to.
Yeah. Let's get that. Yeah. Let's go ahead and get him right there.
That's a good pick. That's a good pickup.
I thought he was gone by now.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. When I saw him, I was like, oh.
Nah, he tried to scroll quick. He tried to scroll quick. I was like, hold on. What was that? Who was that? Hold on, sorry.
Double time scroll. Oh, you guys got a pick right before us too. Y'all flushed with picks. All right, it's y'all turn again. Who y'all gonna try and steal from us?
All right, here. Man, I probably need to. Let me see what's up on these tight ends.
Only dude I really know is Nick Muse. That's the only guy I've seen. I'm not gonna lie.
Boy.
Nothing crazy at the tight end position right now.
For real. Go to that D tackle. I think I'm gonna just try to. Oh, if Nick Farrell's available, I'm gonna scoop him.
Neil Farrell right there.
There he is. Let's go ahead and take him.
Boom. All right. That was painful. No, I'm just kidding. You know, honestly, I'm thinking about. I wouldn't mind Chris Paul, especially this late in the draft. I think again he's somebody that we could definitely mold into something really good. But I think I'm gonna actually double up somewhere that people probably aren't expecting me to. Is it here? I just saw somebody. Now I can't remember who it was, but I was like, oh, we got to get him. Jermaine Waller. Not double up. I didn't double up. I didn't get a cornerback. That was the point I was trying to make. Is we didn't get it. Did we get a cornerback? Was I able to pick one up? I don't believe so, right?
I
wasn't able to even get a cornerback. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead with Jermaine Waller. Not gonna be a guy that's gonna be a starter, but I think he's probably got more potential than the 4 or 5 guys that we have on this team right now. If I'm being 100% on outside of obviously big play Slay, but we haven't re-signed Steven Nelson. Like, we're gonna have to find that number 2 guy. Late in the draft, you add this guy to the mix. I think that it's a good pickup. So I would not be mad at that. I wouldn't have been mad at Marquise Bell either. I like Marquise Bell a lot. That boy could hit. That boy could hit.
Mm-hmm.
Do either of us even have a pick anymore?
Were we in the 7th or the 6th?
Yeah, we're in the 6th.
Do you have we got one more. Pick? Yeah, we got one.
Yeah,
we got 1 6th round and then we're done.
Yeah, I don't think we have another pick.
Yeah, I just gonna pick up somebody. I ain't gonna know.
Before we get, shout out to my guy Hunter from Philly Insider Podcast on hitting 1K, yo. Shout out to my guys, man.
Shout out.
Yeah, that's big, man. That's big. Keep grinding.
It's hard in these streets. Streets.
Yeah, man. Go get that money cut. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, for real. You ain't lying. He ain't lying.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Make that money, bro. He knows his stuff, man. Hunter knows his stuff, so I respect them, man. Oh, you guys don't even have another pick.
I know. Oh, well, then there it is.
I was like, wait, did I just skip your last pick? No, I didn't skip your last pick. All right, so this isn't bad, man. I like this one. I think we're gonna have to stick with this one. I'll let you do yours first. You can go ahead and read off your draft. Tell me how you feel about your draft.
Okay, let me pull. Can you pull it up yet?
Yeah, it puts ours together, unfortunately.
Okay, that's ugly. But okay, so where's my first pick?
Right here, Treylon Burks.
Okay, so I don't feel bad at all about my picks. My first round pick, Treylon Burks, receiver, from Arkansas, 6'3", 225 pounds. Everybody was kind of tripping because he didn't have the great combine. Everybody expecting him to be the DK Metcalf of the combine. We're coming in running 4.3. He ran a 4.55. say it looked a little slow, but I say that's playing speed. I've seen plenty of guys. Dez Bryant didn't have a great combine either, and that's why he dropped in. He had a pretty good career in Dallas. So they could look at, he slips. He's from Arkansas. We have ties. Let him slip. Cowboys scoop him. I don't feel bad about that, especially with the receiver being a need now, with Amari Cooper being gone and Michael Gallup still on the mend. CeeDee Lamb jumps to the number one, but this is a good kind of buffer, and you can slide him in and see what he does. And they've already met him, so I like that. Let's go with it.
Yeah, I respect that. I respect that. Then you got Dylan Parham.
Dylan Parham, Memphis guy, got a little bit bigger. He was a little bit smaller, got a little bit bigger to take over the guard spot. He played multiple positions. I think he played a little right and left guard, so he can flex different positions. I think they have taught to him, and they have ties with Memphis because they have Tony Pollard on the team, and he kind of shot up in their kind of draft. He was kind of a slippy, had a good senior season, and I feel like people in the scouts are already dealing with him because there's been talk. So whenever Dallas talks to somebody, it's a high probability they're going to draft you. So that's another reason why. And there's a hole. Connor Williams has gone over to Miami now. There's a hole with the guard position. La'el Collins, that a lot of people thought switch La'el Collins to left guard and let's get, Terrence Steele. But the Cowboys were just foul out, released La'el Collins. So there's a need right there at guard, and hopefully he can compete and, play and maybe step in. Then we go with our next pick, which is, who's our next pick?
Quay Walker from Georgia.
Quay Walker, Georgia. He's been turning all the way up. I feel like Quay Walker, he's a huge, big condor. He a little bit underachieving, in my opinion, at Georgia. I really liked Channing Tindall. That was the guy I really, really liked. But he's a big dude. I mean, he's 6'4", he's 245 pounds. And like I said, he underachieved. And I felt like, in my opinion, didn't have those doggish numbers. But he's so daggone huge. You can play him. Maybe you can rush him, have his hand in the ground. You can stand him up at linebacker. You know what I mean? You can play him in multiple positions. And the way Dan Quinn runs this defense and finding out what he can find, what you're really good at, and hone in on that. That's why I like him, especially at that third round. They just re-signed LVE, so they're going to feel comfortable with Michael Parsons and LVE. You still have Jabril Cox, who was starting to come on his rookie year that had the torn ACL. He's a 6'4", 231-pound linebacker that can play in coverage, and he can rush the passer, and he can play your tight ends. So you're getting a Quay Walker with this size. This guy can be maybe a blitzer for you. Maybe this is a guy that you can really rack up. So I like that pick right there too, especially the way they signed their guys in free agency. And then let's go to our other pick. What was our fourth round guy?
Dominique Robinson.
Dominique Robinson. I'm gonna go with Dominique Robinson. There's some edge guys that have kind of left me, but Dominique Robinson, I kept my eye on him from afar. I believe he played in. I'm pulling him up, dog, because I gotta see. He played, I believe, in the Senior Bowl game. Good measurements. Had a pretty decent combine, not anything that will blow you out the water, but still good enough. Dallas likes them small school guys, especially in that fourth round. That's where they like to experiment. And, he had a pretty good vertical. I think he could probably add to the room. You just signed Dante Fowler over from Atlanta. He has ties with Dan Quinn. You possibly looking at Jason Pierre-Paul. You re-signed Dorrance Armstrong Jr. He can play multiple because he can play the edge and he can play linebacker for you. He had a career year with 5 sacks. So he could be in the mix. You got Chauncey Golston, but he's more likely going to play the left side. You brought back DeMarcus Lawrence. You lost Randy Gregory, but this is a guy that you can add in your defensive end. And like I said, he's a fourth-round pick. You guys like to experiment in the fourth rounds. I'm cool with that. I think they would do something like that.
I respect that.
Fifth round. Danny Gray. I think he's a Texas kid. And Cowboys like Texas kid. SMU, close to that Cole Beasley that played at SMU. He had a pretty decent career in Dallas. And Danny Gray, he is your speed guy, where Treylon Burks is not your speed guy, but he is maybe your physical receiver, maybe your do-all guy, and maybe your explosive guy. But this is your fast guy that you want that can take the top off the defense. Ran a 4.3, was one of the top, I think in the top 5 in the combine with the combine numbers. Stepped up in his senior year at SMU. They had another SMU receiver, and I think he maybe outplayed him this year. And he gives you return ability, which Dallas is lacking. They tried CeeDee Lamb last year, and he wasn't really the guy. Cedric Wilson is gone in Miami. You don't really have that position available now in the return game. I think Danny Gray can add to it. He came in at about 6 foot, 195 pounds, so he's got some decent size for you. And as I said, he ran a 4.3 in the 40, so he can take the top off the defense, which you need. So you got a speed guy, and you got to do everything guy at the receiver position. So I'm cool with that. And then let's go with the next one.
You guys went on a run.
Yeah, man, I'm feeling good. If the Cowboys, I'm in the Cowboys' head, I definitely feel they give me a pat on the back on this one. And then I believe what we got, Cade Mays next.
Yes, sir.
Cade Mays is an interior offensive lineman, and I like Cade Mays because he actually was at the Senior Bowl. Excuse me. And I was liking him. Number one, he played in the SEC. That's a good thing because you're playing against very good players. And for what you're drafting in the 5th round, and they've already met him multiple times. That's the key. Cowboys have already met him multiple times. And if the Cowboys have met you multiple times, pretty much they like you and they want to get you. So this is a dude. And like I said, you already missed some offensive lineman in Connor Williams, and then you lost Leo Collins. This is a kid right here that could help you. He's 6'5". He's about 320 pounds. He played offensive guard and he played offensive tackle. You got Josh Ball coming back from Miss Marshall that maybe you can supplement Tyron Smith as a future. And so now you got 2 offensive linemen in the draft, and you're covering your areas and your bases with that for the guys that you left. You lost 2 guys, you brought 2 guys back. So I look at it that way as well.
Facts. Then you got Kalen Barnes.
I'm going to be honest with you. This was a flyer. Hopefully, Cowboys, this is a flyer guy that maybe he comes in and, maybe competes. Cowboys got draft picks last year in Kelvin Joseph and Nashawn Wright from Oregon State. So they already kind of got guys in the fold. You want Kelvin Joseph to take the next step and be opposite of Trevin Diggs. They still have Anthony Brown, Jordan Lewis, and now you got Nashawn Wright. And maybe Mukamu that came in, you maybe can flex him. So this is a guy to compete in the room, 5'11", 183 pounds. You will see with him, and maybe he can compete in the room.
Definitely. Then Verone McKinley. That's a good pick. I like that pick a lot.
I love that pick. I didn't think he'd be available. I think people are slipping on him. He came into Oregon, had like four interceptions early. He gives good versatility, 5'11", about 200 pounds. Like I said, good versatile. They brought back Malik Hooker in the fold, and I like that 2-year signing. They still got a year with Donovan Wilson, but this guy can play your free safety maybe for the future. So let him compete. You got him in the 5th round, which I feel like is great quality and value. And he's young. He's only a redshirt sophomore. So he's relatively young. Maybe he can grow with the program. And I think Cowboys like Oregon players, they have maybe a little bit of ties right there. So I think that's a good pick, especially for the value.
Yeah, and then you ended off with Neil Farrell, another good pick from LSU.
And Neil Farrell, I'm surprised he fell this far. I thought he'd be taken before that. But like I said, this is a good value pick in my opinion. I think he played in the Senior Bowl. 6'4", 350 pounds. So right there, that's your run stuffer, right? So in the 6th round last year, you got Quentin Bohanna, who was a 6'4", 350, and he lost the weight, but he's 330. Now in your last round, you got another one tech that maybe can develop 6'4", 338 pounds, and you got him in the 6th round. So you got great value with that. So I'm not at all mad at my draft, in my opinion.
Yeah, so everybody start dropping your grades for the Cowboys draft, and then I'll go over my draft right now. You know what I'm saying? I like my draft. I do. Obviously, we went with Jordan Davis, but in hindsight, with the thought process of looking at this like the Eagles, I really do want to go on record and just say I think Devontae Wyatt is probably more of their type of guy. But I went ahead and took Jordan Davis. Garrett Wilson, another guy that I think that'll just play very well aside of Devontae Smith, and we need a number 2. I like Quez Watkins a lot. It's just he hasn't been asked to do it. I think he could be a number 2. if not, you a very, very solid slot guy. You got Garrett Wilson on the outside. So then I got George Karlaftis. I mean, I think that number 19 is a beautiful spot to be able to grab him, especially if David Ojabo is not high on people's boards anymore. So this might change due to David Ojabo being out. Maybe he doesn't go ahead of George Karlaftis like this is probably predicting. So we need edge. I think that there's no, surprise about that. I think the Hassan Riddick pickup was great. Doesn't solve the problem. So I'm going to go with George Karlaftis here. And then I got Jalen Petrie. Honestly, I didn't think he was going to be there. I thought I was going to be reaching at the safety position. I probably was going to go with a cornerback at that position. But seeing Jalen Petrie there, I just think he's probably top 4, top 5 safeties in this draft easily. So I had to take him. And then we get to our third round, and Jojo Damon, he's just versatile to me. Maybe he needs to get a little bit better in the run game. I really don't think that there's much weaknesses to his game. I think that he's kind of going under the radar, and I think he can split out even to the cornerback position. I've said this before. I feel like he's not going to go, on the outside and be covering their number one guy. But if, a tight end, which is becoming very, very more normal in the NFL, if a tight end wants to split out as a wide receiver, I trust Jojo Damon to stay on the field and be able to cover that guy, or a running back, or some slot wide receiver. Some of them, I don't think he could, but he offers you that versatility. So I like Jojo Damon probably a little bit better, more than a lot of people, to be honest. Damien Pierce, I think he could be a day one contributor in that running back room. I think he adds a little bit of power, adds a little bit of pop. And I do think he's probably the best pure runner out of a lot of these guys, in my opinion. Like, I think that he just runs the best with the ball in his hands. Like, some guys can, catch better than him. Some guys maybe are a little bit flashier, might maybe give you more spin moves. But I think Damien Pierce is just a no-nonsense type of runner. And he can definitely give you some pass protection. So I like the kid. I think that he can be somebody. No, not a lot of threat on his tires, right? And then I like Lycidas Smith. At offensive line, I said this in one of my videos earlier. Like, give me size, give me strength, give me potential, and you add Jeff Stoutland to that, and I think that we can make a player out of most people. I keep going to Jordan Mailata, and I know Jordan Mailata is kind of a rarity, but the kid wasn't even playing football like 4 years ago, and now he's a starting left tackle. So I think that this guy has good size, good athleticism, to a point, and I think that he can really help out this offensive line, even if it's just depth. And then Cade Hall, I wouldn't say he's a flyer. I think that there's a world where he is an immediate, contributor. I really do. Is that, would he do that? That's to be seen. But at this point in the draft, I think that he's a great pick if you're trying to get younger at that edge position. Maybe he doesn't flourish this year, but a year under some guys and learning the game a little bit, I think that he would be great. Justin Ross, I feel like, fell off of people's radar entirely. People just don't even know who he is. I think that he has talent. So I like Justin Ross. I think that you add talent to this wide receiving room, and I think that he has that. He has a high ceiling, in my opinion, but kind of a low floor. We kind of see what he is, but it is what it is. At these late round picks, you're just trying to get guys that you see talent in and that can maybe develop into a permanent contributor. And then the last one I went with Jermaine Waller. He is a flyer. It is a total just kind of throwing a dart at the wall and hoping it sticks, because Jermaine Waller has, like I said, has talent. He's got the speed, he's got the size, but will he translate to the NFL level? That's to be seen. And we have so many guys in that cornerback room. I just want somebody that has a little bit of that push in him that will kind of push these guys. So I think that he'll be an interesting prospect for the Eagles. So that's our draft right there. I'll make a nice little
I like it. I like ever since we've been doing this, you've drafted pretty well. So I can't really hate on your draft. Like I said, this is why we do this. There's no hate involved. When I look at your draft, especially your first, you got Jordan Davis first. I feel like we were talking about Wyatt. That's a hard one, because he is like Fletcher Klotz, and I think he's going to be good in the NFL. But Jordan Davis, that's just kind of, you just don't pass on that. And you still have Fletcher Cox for 1 year. You got to let them two play together a little bit. And that would be a really tough line, especially if he comes and if he plays the way he was playing in Georgia and those combine numbers, that's going to be something scary if that were to happen.
Yeah.
And then you come with Garrett Wilson. I like Garrett Wilson. That was a good 1-2 combo with him and Olave. And then, him blending with your boy Smith. I think he's a good receiver, a little lanky, but a good speed. And it can work underneath. And Ohio State receivers tend to play good in the NFL. I think they have a good pedigree playing good in the NFL and being successful in the NFL. And then your boy from Purdue, I don't know how to say that last name. I'm just calling him Curious George. I'm calling him Curious George. But for the value that you need an edge rusher, you need an edge guy, and he's a technician type guy. And I feel like those type of guys that come out of like, he reminds me of. He reminds me of like your boy Ryan Kerrigan. He reminds me of that type of player. And I feel like he's that type of player. And so people might, he might not wow you, but he's consistently going to be there getting the job done. You know what I mean? Exactly. So, you got I definitely like that first top half. I like Damien Pierce in that, for which you got him in the 4th or the 2nd round. Is that the 2nd round?
I think in the 5th. I think I got him in the 5th.
5th and the 5th round, but I like him at a 5th round pick. Damien Pierce got some juice to him, and he could be slippy. And the way running backs are getting drafted nowadays, you don't have to get no guy in them top rounds. You can really find those guys later rounds. 4th and 5th round seems like when you can really find really good running backs. So for the value, I like it. So I think that's a good draft for you as well. I'm gonna give my own self a B. People said some B. I'm gonna give my own self a B, maybe a B. I'm gonna say a solid B. I'm gonna throw y'all in them B Rams around them B Rams too.
Yeah, I think I would give myself a B. If I was grading my own test, obviously maybe I'll give myself a B plus. But no. If I'm being realistic, I do think I would say B. I'm glad we were able to get a safety. Mad we weren't really able to get a true starting cornerback. But you got yourself your number 2 wide receiver probably for the next 6-7 years. You know what I'm saying? As long as you can pay the guys. You got your guys, and you guys too. I think you did fill up the holes that you needed to. Wide receiver does become a big issue for you guys now. You guys were able to fix that. Dylan Parham is probably top 7 guys in that interior offensive line. You were able to get him in the 2nd round. I think that's a great pick. Quay Walker, you talked to me a little bit more into him. I keep on clicking on people, but he does. He's great. I get nervous with Georgia linebackers, and that's what kind of makes me nervous. And hear me out, not that they're not good or not that they're not going to be good. I just get nervous because even when you look at Nakobe Dean, it's like, how much have you seen them actually have to fight through traffic or garbage? Right. Like their defense, and that's what I said about Dean.
So good. But see, that's what I said about Dean, and that's why I was like, you know what, I was going for the hype, not really looking on my own, just really hearing the words in the streets. And then so I'm like, okay, well, let me just really go back to what I'm looking at. And when I seen who he had up front, that helps you. That's going to keep you really clean to be able to do what you want to do. And it wasn't like they weren't really good up front. It wasn't like they were guys. They were good up front. These guys are going to be high draft picks as well. So that covers you. But, that's why I feel good about getting a Quay Walker in the 3rd round, because I didn't have to go no 1st or 2nd. And he can develop because you have a LVE who you brought back, who already familiar with the system. You already know what he brings to the table. He got better at the end of the year, and so you don't have to feel like you're throwing a Quay Walker in there. And you got Cox coming back, and you got Parsons who you can put down at rush him at the edge, and you can play him at linebacker. So you and they re-signed Luke Gifford. A lot of people don't talk about him because he's not somebody out there, but he was a good special teams guy for Dallas. He can play some good linebacker in the pinch, and he's got good size. He's 6'3", 240 pounds, and he can play the run and he can play the pass. So I feel like in 3rd round, I hear what you're saying about Georgia linebackers. I feel better 3rd round instead of like a 2nd round of Quay Walker. I wouldn't feel good about that. A lot of people are jumping up and doing that. I wouldn't do that for him because I feel like he's still underperformed. And, you come in 1st and 2nd round, you got to produce.
Yeah. That's facts. I probably should have got a linebacker. I know a lot of people are going to look at it and be like Devin Lloyd. You look at. I just feel like there's.
I'm off on him, bro. I ain't hating on him, bro. I'm
I
cool.
love Devin Lloyd. I still like Devin Lloyd. Don't get me wrong.
You don't love
I
him no
am
more,
kind
so
of
stop
off
saying
the.
saying you love him. You don't love him no
Yeah,
more.
I don't. I don't. I just and it's
He
not even
saw the
his fault.
light.
It's
I
really
got him to see.
there's
No,
so
I
many
got him to see. No,
players.
I got him to see. I
There's
see.
so many
That's
players.
why he loved me coming on this show. I get I get Joe. I get Joe to see the light. I get him to see the light. I said, man, bro, look at that light. And hey, and I had some people say, go watch the tape. I watched a lot of tape on Devin Lloyd. And I'm not saying I'm like the tape master, but bro, I saw too many times where he wasn't winning, and too many times where he wasn't getting off them blocks. And then he's not super big, even though he's 6'3". There's like 240. He's like a wiry. He was a safety before, and I just don't see that. And you can get tackles, and he was getting tackles, but they were after the line of scrimmage. They weren't impactful tackles. You know what I'm saying? They weren't getting behind the line of scrimmage. As a linebacker, you want to get the tackles behind the line of scrimmage, not when they're getting 2 or 3 yards and you're making the tackle. That doesn't help anything. They're still getting
That's
2 and 3,
facts.
4 yards a carry. And that's what they were talking about with Jalen Smith. Yes, he was getting 80, 90, 100 tackles in a season, but were they impactful tackles? Were they tackles for loss? Were they anything like that? No, they weren't. They were 4 or 5 yards down the field tackles. That's getting stat padding. Not saying you're a stat padder, but that I feel like inflates your stats and makes it look like you're a tackling machine. But you really watch the tape. I didn't see all those impactful tackles behind the line of scrimmage, so I'm cool on him, and I feel like those other linebackers are going to be able to produce just as good or if not better than him.
Nah, that's a fact. And we've dealt with it too in Philadelphia, man. You could look at Alex Singleton, you could look at Nate Gary. They both were our leading tacklers, and then now they're not even on the team. So, a lot of people look at. I always say this, especially with the cornerbacks and the safeties, because we fell into this with Anthony Harris too. If your cornerbacks and safeties are getting a massive amount of tackles, that says something about your linebackers and your front seven. Like your cornerbacks aren't supposed to be the guys that are getting you the 60, 70, 80, 90 tackles a year. Like you should be a little bit worried about that. So people get enamored with the wrong numbers sometimes. You gotta put everything into context, but it is what it is. I still like this draft. I think that there's talent everywhere. So I'm excited about this draft. And we're just closer now. We're only getting closer. We're less than we're a little bit over a month away. A little bit over a month away now.
I mean, it's right here. Like I said, to me right now, Dallas has 4 picks, and I just told you four fifth-round picks. Fifth-round picks aren't really jumping up to make the team. So this should be the draft where you did what you did in free agency. We all knew what you were going to do. You got low end players. I mean, I'm going to go live here on my show here in a little bit, and here's the thing that I talk about, Joe, is when I talk about with our free agency, like they might be signings where you're like, okay, Dante Fowler, let's say they signed Jason Pierre-Paul, right, and they got James Washington. It's for what they're doing. They're being still conservative, low cost, no risk, because if he doesn't pan out, it didn't hurt you. So you're not taking a risk. You're still conservative by nature. You feel like you can win it this way. And it's been shown that you're not winning it that way. You have to sometimes jump out there and get one type of player that can really impact the whole team to really uplift the team. You might feel like you got good players, but it could be that one guy, just like when you drafted Micah Parsons. You feel like your team is different because you got that one player, Micah Parsons. You're not going to hit that on the draft every single time, bro. I don't care how great you draft, you're not going to do it. It's a crapshoot. Like, yes, you can scout but you never know, right? You don't know. But when you get that free agent that's played 4 or 5 years and he's been a dog, pretty much have an idea that this kid is going to still be good when he comes over to you and he's going to make our team better. You know what I'm saying? And we've seen it time and time again. And Stephen Jones always says, well, we're not going to build our team through free agency. You don't have to. That's the dumb way. I would never want the team. You always build through the draft. But you still got to get some kind of dog free agents here and there that can really take you over the hump. Not the bargain guys, not the guys that don't cost a lot of money. Because one reason I say is, why are they bargain guys? Why are they on the low-end deals? Because they're not impactful players now. That's why they're on low-end deals. And so they're not going to be that impactful player for your team. It's kind of like not fool's gold, but it's just like the conservative way. And as I said before, the conservative way, Joe, will keep you competitive. You'll win games, but you're not going to get over the hump.
Yeah, no, that's a fact. Yeah, I mean, we've seen it time and time again, especially with Super Bowl teams. Like when you add talent, it usually works out. If you have a base, and that's the biggest thing, because a lot of people look at the Rams and be like, oh, they just bought all these players, which they did. They did buy a lot of key players to that Super Bowl. But if you look at it, they had the base, right? Like they had a very good team prior to going and giving up, first round picks for this guy, first round picks for that guy, going crazy like that. So it's about building that base, I feel like, through the draft, getting those cheap contracts that get your good players. And then you get the great players that, you can, okay, now we can get that top tier wide receiver in free agency or whatever it may be that you're lacking. You can just kind of fill those holes with great players from there. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at free agency. Free agency should just be kind of a supplement instead of, the actual base of what you're trying to do with your team. But we'll see. I mean, what before we do get out of here, I want to ask one last thing. What are you expecting going forward this week? Are you expecting, because I know with the Eagles, we'll probably have like 2 or 3 small moves, right? Like little bargain players, as you said. So do you expect anything from the Cowboys these next coming weeks?
No, I mean, this is what it is, dog. I don't think about anything for agency. As I said before, this Jason Pierre-Paul thing, I think that would be probably the last signing. There's not going to be any big signing. It's going to be a bargain player. It's going to be a player that's not anything that's dominant anymore. It's not going to be anything like that. It's just going to be somebody that could possibly compete, maybe rekindle the fire because we got a really good coordinator and maybe he can bring out some stuff in him. Maybe Jabril Cox is a lot of people that Dallas want back. I want Jabril Cox back because I feel like he's a good leader. He played well under Dan Quinn's system. So they said they maybe have some common ground. I think a lot of people in Cowboys land would be happy to have Jabril Cox come back because he was a leader. He brought attitude to the locker room that Cowboys have missed, even though it didn't happen in these playoffs. But he brings that, and I think he's a type of player that the Cowboys could just kind of mesh with. So maybe that's a good signing. I mean, hopefully that gets signed. And I feel like that's a good piece to bring back for the defense to, going forward. But in free agency, no, I feel like that's over. And Jason Pierre-Paul probably the only guy. Dallas ain't doing nothing in free agency. And what I'm really have to really look forward to every year is the draft. That's why I get excited about the draft. That's why I went to the Senior Bowl. That's why I'm going to continue to go to the Senior Bowl. That's why I'm going to make sure I'm back at the Combine because I feel like Stephen Jones has said it. We're building through the draft. So the draft is going to be the most important thing in Dallas Cowboys land until they die. So that's what I'm always going to focus on. And so that's why I'm looking at these players. And really, you got four fifth rounders. Joe, they need to do some wheeling and dealing this year and maybe do some surprising package and get a couple guys that they didn't think. You know what I'm saying? If that's what you build through, then get dangerous in the draft.
I respect that. Yeah, this is going to be fun. This is the funnest part of the offseason to me is the draft talk. But, yeah, we are going to get out of here. We went about an hour and a half, a little bit longer than we usually do. But we didn't do it last week, so I felt like maybe we give y'all a little bit, a little bit extra goodness on it and just a little salt and pepper. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we're going to get out of here. Is there anything you want to say before we get out of here, James?
No, I appreciate it. Sorry we missed last week. I got caught up on daylight saving times. My bad, y'all. I was knocked the F out. I was sleeping good. I just happened to wake up and turn over and look at my phone. You feel me? And I said, "Oh, hot dog it." My mind was like, "You got caught on that daylight savings time." I was like, "Hell yeah!" I looked over like, "Ding!" So yeah, so that didn't happen, and then we just had a hectic week, both of us. You know how we do on the ones and twos. So. But, hey, that's always a good thing because we can hit it back. Maybe we missed a week, and that was a good thing because we got to catch up on some NFL. A lot of good things happen in NFL that we could talk about. So it's always good, and just make sure, once again, always continue to support. I've been looking at the feed, and I've been looking at the your page. Been quite a few likes on there for this show, and that's what I like to see. So that means like people are trying to pay attention to what we bring into the table for both of our squads because, as I said before, we're not just talking draft. We're talking, what our teams are doing in free agency, what kind of moves they're making, what can happen with the teams beyond the draft. So really, you should continue to look at this. And hopefully me and Joe, I may just throwing it out there that after the draft is over, hopefully we can do this kind of maybe once a week where we can just kind of preview and talk about our teams and how it correlates. And then, when we meet, we have our, weekly talks. So I think that's something that I would love to continue, because I think it continues to give insight from the Philly side, what Dallas is doing, and an opinion that's not biased and that's not homerish. And as well as I can bring the Philly side to it, who's a guy who's not a homerish guy, who's not biased, who talks the real. And I feel like it gives really good perspectives about the team on both sides. And then you can see it, and we talk NFL. So I think this is something that you definitely need to continue to support as we continue to build this thing.
Definitely. Yeah, I agree with everything you said, bro. There's a lot of fun because, like you said, we both keep it 100% honest. At least we try to.
Right.
Sometimes we're going to have those homer takes because we get upset. And you're going to make me mad about some of these players you're stealing from us. But right. No, but it's always fun, man. But yeah,
so don't worry about your Eagles. We be beating y'all, so don't worry about y'all.
Not this year. But definitely hit that like, hit that subscribe, join the family. I'm going to get back on my lives. I've just been having so much fun with these outdoor videos.
Yo, my God. He's been doing outdoorsy. It's been outdoorsy. I said, man, what is this? He made me want to go out in the outdoors. He made me want to go outdoors.
I walked up. I did the reporter walk and everything. And people, it was awesome. But I'm going to go live a little bit later on tonight. Like you said, he's going to be going live on his channel in a little bit. So definitely go check him out. Go show him love if you don't already. But yeah, other than that, man, y'all know what it is. We out of here. Peace.
We're brothers. We're happy and we're singing and we're colored. Give me a high